Hello YouTubians, welcome back to another .spicer10 YouTube video, and it's a slightly different video. So I polished this thing up. I'll get to why there's a thing missing in a minute. This is my lovely CT, which I've just nicely polished a night ago. And well, it's a little bit awkward to flick because I've had to screw this back down just to show you what the problem is. So the problem is this keeps happening. This is the third time now, or is it the fourth? Third or fourth time, one of the two. And this one was the one I've just replaced last. So it's, I replaced two springs last time. It was these two. That one's still fine. But this one, And of course, a floppy claw spring is, well, a floppy claw is going to cause it to not open properly. And not only that, I need to realign this whole entire assembly here because it closes nice, but it feels impossible to extend at the moment. Whereas before I had it just so it would flick with a nice, good, firm flick of the wrist. And it's a bit too firm now. So I'm going to sort it. So I can actually show you the threads. Now you can see the cut. Oh, wow. Camera quality. You can see I've cut them down. It was slightly longer with like a groove notch cut out in the end. And your LED obviously sits in there. In fact, the LED wire is in there. It's just I've unaligned it, but it's fine. It's coming apart anyways. This is how I take this apart. Disclaimer, by the way. This is me doing it at my own. Well, I've done this at my own risk, and I'm going to be doing this again at my own risk. I mentioned before the soundboard doesn't work. I am not going to move this because the switch is glued down. If I can get away with just leaving it as it is, I will. I've just got to worry about this end because. Sorry about that. Don't know what that was about. But inside there's like a jumper connection because one half came off. So it's you'll see it. So with me, I've got the box of springs that CT had well, not supplied me with, but the link that he supplied me with. There, and they are really tiny. And it's a really fiddly process, and I've done this through a learning curve, so I'm just showing you how I do it. So I hope you are ready to see me get frustrated with this thing, because it's not the most easiest job, I swear. So ignore the tray, it's my parts tray. But yeah, here is a pair of tweezers, which I'm going to need for manhandling the spring. And I've got this thing, which is one of them phone lock key things, where you get the SIM and whatever you need out. And it's actually the right size just to push these pins, just to get the old spring off. And again, I could even do it to, take this out if I wanted to. It does come loose, actually. In fact, I can show you if I just put that in there. You can see it pushed out a little bit, but we're not taking that off because there's no reason for it to come off. So this is my emitter lens. You can tell it's been drilled, like I've drilled it further in to widen it as well. And you can see the glue residue that it's left in there. And this just nicely just threads back on. You just got to be careful because it's a new thread on it. And if I screw this up once, and you can see that that's on tight, and I don't really do that. The first time around I actually glued it in place because I didn't know how to rethread it. But thanks to the foreshadow of the LED getting stuck in here, just make sure that's clean. Because the original LED, the original green LED I put in, I was gluing the inside and I thought it was fully dry, and I put this back in and then the LED got stuck, so I pulled the legs came off, so I had to drill it, and then it all just went inside there. and I just re-drilled it. So it's given me a new layer, and with that, I was able to rethread it onto here. So reusing the same emitter. I've just realised I will need my toolbox because I have a screwdriver in there. So I'm going to go get that because I'll need it for the internal part because I can't undo it from the top, which I'll get to in a moment. So in fact, what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to show you how I get this off. Now, usually you see these little grub screws. They're actually sat behind the silver cage section, but for my sake of easy access, you can see there's a bit of a gap there. I've made it so that if I just twist it back in the proper way it was, it was about there. That was how it was. See, that closed a lot better. So I'm just going to give this a flick. Oh, that's tight as, yeah, as. Yeah, I can't really flick it, but it closes a bit easier. But yeah, that's basically, I have to just undo these a smidge. Not all the way, because otherwise you're going to have a tough job getting them back in. Trust me, I know. In fact, my original idea to get the claw spring in, but it wouldn't have worked, was to undo one of these. But again, one of these are rounded, and that wasn't through me. It was how it was when I got it. So I'm going to grab onto this section, because it's got no battery in it. I've took it out. There it is. I had to grab a screwdriver because we need a screwdriver to fix the sonic screwdriver. Yes, you heard that right. Anywho, so just chucking bits around now apparently. So I did undo that, didn't I? Yeah. And then I just grab onto the top piece as well, and I undo both sections. So I'm grabbing onto this, the top cone section in there, and I've got to be careful with this because it's very fiddly. It's coming off now. But yeah, like I said, the battery's out. So yeah, there's the top bit. This is the bit we need to get to. But I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to take this all the way off because I need to check this cage section anyways, because I was able to push these struts back in. Wow, that's on tight. I swear that wasn't as tight before. Okay. Yeah, you can see the jump. Oh, you can't. But yeah, you can see the jumper wire I've done there. It's good to see that's still well, because otherwise that would have been another task. But yeah, you see the cores. You see, after flicking it, the metal shear particles do get onto there. It does look like this is, yeah, that feels solid. That's good. But yeah, you can see it's rubbing there. I think what I'll do before I put this back together is I'll buff this up just to help, and then do another go on the ring section. I know I can do that with cotton buds, but yeah, they're just shifting. They're both the same width, so if I wanted to, I mean, if I pulled one of these struts out, I could technically just swap them around, because one is actually slightly lighter. You can tell that one's got more of a whitish colour to it. I know this is part of a Sonic you don't really see unless you look really closely. And we've got this section here, which, while this is off, I need to buff this up because it's jarring. But yeah, there's a slotted end down here. And what I'm going to do, I'm a bit jittery right now because this is the most fiddly part ever. That's what we're about to come to anyways. I'm just going to grab onto the cage section and just unscrew this. Now, I'm not an expert on fixing Sonics. I've had to ask a bunch of people for like ways of getting in. I've tried like asking them how, like, look, how can I get this part? And they told me it was all threaded construct. Well, some of them said it was threaded construction, and I was watching a video of the Nerds Archives, Rubber Rock and Roll Sonic, which was like a gift from Nick, I think, and I saw him put that together. Well, strip it down and put it back together. So I kind of went off that as like a base idea of how it went together. But yeah, and there you go. And that's what I modified. Basically, I added a shanth because it was too sharp, and that's what caused the original wire to strip. And not only that, I wanted to make sure it was better contact. It seems to be holding up well. I've just got to clean it up a bit. I mean, my fingers are getting black already. But yeah, there you can see there's a true length of the threads. Could have probably got away with... if I could, I would get a replacement one of these. I've asked about before, but I haven't really got to that part yet for reasons, aka meaning I have very low budget right now, so I have to do this my way. So now if I put these two back together as normal, that is how smooth it has to be. But what's happening is that summer is causing it to be out of whack. So if I put that back in there, now usually when you put this back together, you usually screw this back on first, then you put the cage on, and then you screw this in, I think. If that's how we did it, I can't remember. But yeah, I keep going out of camera. I need to move this way a bit. It's just how I'm naturally... There you go, you can see. But yeah, so say that's in there. Say that. Just going to make sure that doesn't get caught. It shouldn't do, because there should be a gap. So you can see how easy... There you go. The double extension. But yeah, that's how smooth it is. There we go. It's a bit tacky, that. But yeah, I'm going to put that in the tray. And I need to clean this as well, and that just, you know, screws on there. Just make sure I don't lose them. So yeah. Now the next thing I use is this, which you can't really see, but I've got stuff in the way, so I'm just going to reset this rig. Okay, so quick scene move. So it's my drawer, just a piece of wood, nothing exotic here. My main desk, you can tell, is beaten, and this is getting painted because this vinyl stuff's rubbish. So what I do with this, just making sure camera frame's all right. Yeah. So which spring is it? Is it that one? That one? That one. And the loop end, I believe, is there. Yes, awesome. Okay, that's a little bit easier. So I'm going to bring this tray forward. Just move that there. And this is the LED. This is from the Character Options 11th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver toy. And it will happily use one of these batteries. So, yeah. So the short leg is where it's connected to the chassis of the Sonic. And the long one is where I connect it via a heatshrink tubing. I don't solder this for reasons like, oh look, floppy claw spring. Okay, Sonic apart. Instead of desoldering, just basically, it's like a connector plug idea that I've come up with, and just basically you put the heat shrink tubing on, line it up properly, heat it up, and then slap it back in your body. And then when you want to have it out again, the LED that is, you just pull the LED out. So it's straightforward. But yeah, so here is the springs. You've seen in one of my videos. Now, the only issue is that these are 0.3s. I can't make that out. But yeah, these are like 0.3s to like 5mm like lengths. Now, these springs, I think they're a little bit puny. And I'm thinking, well, can't I just use 0.5s? If only we could find 0.5s. Oh, yes, we could find plenty of 0.5s. But it was the length. We couldn't find the right length. So I'm having to be stuck with using these for now until I know what else to use. Also, I need a screw, because I'm going to screw this puppy down. Because it just makes it easier instead of having to jumble it about. But you get the idea. I just need to take this out. Right. I'm going to show you. Look in there. Just not all the way, just enough. Just enough so you can get a bit. Let's spring out. Need to push that in a bit more. About there. There we go. See that? That's free from pin, tweezers. Right, that fell out. So that's good, that's out. And now for the fun bit. Putting a new spring in. You can see how small that is. It's not really, you know. But now I've got to wangle this thing in. This is the easy bit, apparently. So I'm gonna just make sure that's not too far at the edge. Line it up. Right, that's that back in. You see it? Just picked a bit of glue off, sorry. But yeah. So that's what it's like when it's stretched. Now, what happens with these springs are, you can still see it on this loop, that it just, focus, there we go. So you can see there, that's the original loop off the broken spring. Every time the spring snaps, it seems to snap on the loop, not on the suspension bit itself. These are what you call an extension spring. So if you're ever trying to find springs, they're called extension springs. Anyways, moving on. So I'm going to take my jeweler screwdriver. I'm just going to lift that in there because you can see I need to take that off there. In fact, where's my glasses? Because I need 1080p in my eyes, so... There we go. Brainy specs. Who needs them? Anyways, there we go. Everything's like 1080p now. Ultra HD. Let's go. So, let's take that out of there. Well, I was about to show you, but it flinged off the... it flinged off the tweezers. Okay. With the camera just to show you, but... That's my pointer. You see that? It's just on. So now the next thing is I've got to push this way and have something on top of that loop just to drag it this way. And I'm going to first that cut out there and put the tack back on top. So... I should have already done it like this to begin with, but I need the extra room. So I can just probably just shift it this way, to be fair. And then grab the tweezers. There we go. And now the blue tack. It's just to stop that from moving. You don't see it unless you look in between these bits. But if they're not on these bits, it should be fine. But mine is. Just to make sure that doesn't move. And not only that, it's also a gauge to see where I can keep it. So now, if I unscrew this, there you go. That's that claw, that's just been replaced. That feels a lot stronger. So now, when that's on there, that will, you know, sit nice. See that spring up. Yeah. So that's all the claws sorted, as you can see. So now we've got the fun part of getting it back together, which is not quite as hard, but it's a bit of a pain. Now I said I was going to buff this up a bit, so I need the polishing cloth. So just want, what's the cloth I was using? And then it was that cloth. Right. So I'm just going to put these in a bit so I'm not catching them. Like that. This is so grafted. Let's dry it up. Get your polish. Set your polish. Right. Comes the fun part. Well, it's cleaning up already. Then put it in here and just buff it up. I'll show you that's coming. I'm gonna give it a buff. Buff! Just like so. Look at that. Looks brand spanking new. That's how we like it. Right. Sort this out while I'm here. Where's the damp bit? There. Just to clean these up a bit. It's a lot easier when the cage is not on it. So I'm just going to go right around it and then buff it. And then I'm going to have to clean my hands like there's no tomorrow. There's never a clean job. There's always something that's mucky. Right. It's just to help with the cleaning. I'm going to this in. Might as well do it while I can. It's not going to be perfect as long as the middle core bit is. Whoa, that's. It's a lot easier to clean it like that. And then by the way, I wouldn't suggest dismantling your screwdriver just to clean it. It's not recommended. But if you're gonna put your Sonic back together, you might as well give it a clean, eh? You might as well just clean it before it all goes back together, like a brand spanking new Sonic. I remember when I first did the 10th Doctor remote, doing the battery on that was a nightmare. I wasn't really comfortable doing it, but I did it. This took a huge. I chewed quite a big bullet for this. So now I would swap these around, but it means taking these off, and I don't fancy quite doing that, so I'm not going to. I have thought about getting a core upgrade at some point. I mean, I probably will do in future, but as of this moment, it's not really necessary. There we go. And then I'm just gonna put the internal bits up, make it look brand new. And then it's just a matter of putting this puppy back together. So look. Oh yeah, that's better. That is so much better. Super shiny. I'm like a magpie with these things. Right. So now here comes the fun bit. Well, I say the fun bit. It's not really fun unless you know it's going to go back together properly. So first things first is put the Sonic back together in reversed order. And that is just simply put the claws in first. Now, the Sonic was a bit too tight, so I'm going to realign the entire body just so it's easier to flick. So there we go. Just push that in. I'm just going to use a screwdriver. Just make sure I get it straight. Just help me line it, and then go zink. There we go. That's what we're talking about. And now you just screw this back in. But before we do that, I need to unscrew these a bit. Make sure they're not sticking out, because otherwise it's not going to screw back on. Tighten that up a bit. That's better. And then just gonna point that way a bit. Basically, you just screw it back in. One last little nip. Right. So now, just going to make sure that's what it'll look like back together, not on a proper way. Now the fun part, I've got to realign this. This is a bit of a problematic bit for me, as it's not as straightforward. I've got to try and line this in there first. I'm going to extend the Sonic a bit, just so I can grab this. And I'm going to grab it so it's on the copper strut, so I can turn it while it's on the copper strut. And it's just a case of wiggle, 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 wiggle. I don't see no wire coming through yet. It should have. Let's put there. It's still in your pocket. That feels like a zip and a clack. That feels like a zip and a clack. It's still loose. The trouble is, even then, that's still staying closed. Okay. I need a knife or something to cut it. I'll do it. Okay, so I'm going to pinch a bit of this. Like so. Then what I do, this is what I do. A lot of doo-doo. This is what I do, do. Put that in there, like so. Sure you got a bit to play with. Then you're going to grab your LED. So I said the long side is where the thing wants to be connected to. Which, move this up a bit like that. I'm just going to test it. So to test it, I put that in there. I'm going to rest it on the leg. Which does. So now the next task is a lighter. And just basically go careful with it, because this is what's keeping your sonic not shorting. You're just going to push that back in there. And then you just put the emitter lens back on. There we go. All sorted. And that is how I fix my sonic. There you go. That locks in there. But when I flick it, you won't really notice it. That feels a lot better as well. I will say it feels more slidey. I had this with me on Friday, and a friend of mine, Matthew, he handled this, and he was like, how the hell, how tight is this flick? I'm like, yeah, I'm still figuring this thing out. So next time if I see Matthew, I'll be like, yeah, now flick it. Easy. So yeah, I'm just going to twist. I can't twist that anymore, but it catches on there, and you can see why. Because of the resin down there. I don't want it to do that. But yeah, that is the sonic fixed. So I hope you all enjoy this video. If you want to see more sonic screwdriver videos and stuff like that, please feel free to check out my YouTube channel, Dr.Spicer10, my Instagram, the Dr.Spicer10, my TARDIS build account, the Doctor's TARDIS10, and also speaking of TARDIS, I've not done much to it lately. I've just fixed the doors. There will be an updated video at some point, just haven't really done anything that's proven to be shown on camera at this moment in time. I do have a 10th Sonic review to do, which is the 2KO knockoff, well, bootleg universal remote. So yeah, but anyways guys, it's been really fun. Well, it's not really been fun for me, but it's probably been fun for you to like see me struggle with this thing. And wow, this video is like an hour long, so I'm gonna have to cut this down a lot in edit, so that's gonna be fun. So, yeah. And yeah, possibly I could fit that in there. Because it's small enough. It's just that my wiring skills are not very good. So, yeah. It stays in the tin. So does that. And that goes back in there. But yes. Anyways, my viewers, thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. I will not be servicing people's Sonics, so please do not ask me to fix them for you, because I am not an expert. Might be good at doing springs, but I'm not that good. Yeah. But anyways, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Geronimo.